Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. All right, so in this video, we're just gonna clean up our website just a little bit. There's a couple of things that we did that I did in terms of the setup of some of the elements within the website itself. So we're gonna just fix them step by one by one. So one of the biggest issues is if we were to make the site set the site in a mobile view, as you can see, certain elements are not are placed correctly. So if you check at the top here, everything is fine because we handled that within the first within the first when we first started with the setup or with the design of the hero section. So here we didn't deal with the what you call it um, the logo and these buttons over here. So what I have to do now is set it so that these buttons only display along with the menu here. It should only display when it's in a desktop view or tablet view or something like that. And then when it's in mobile view, we should only see one button. So let's start with the header section. Okay, so this is the section we need to look into. All right, so the first thing I need to do now is well, let me just explain. There's a couple of classes that we can use from Bootstrap to handle this, so we don't need to go too in depth with CSS. So for that, for example, the navigation, what we can do here is say d display, which is display none, and then we can say d sm block, right? So when the screen is bigger than 600 megapixels or pixels, um, this navigation will show. Otherwise, if it's not, it won't display. All right. So then now if you come back here and refresh, as you can see, the navigation is not showing. Now let's do the same with the buttons. So here we'll just have to say, we're going to copy what we did here. And then basically we're going to add that to this particular um, div. So remember, it should be supposed to be a class. I was actually supposed to make this an ID, but let's just keep it as it is. So here we'll say d none and then dsm block, right? So if you come back again, refresh, as you can see, it doesn't display. So now when the screen increases, when the display increases, as you can see, they show. When it doesn't display. Okay, even the logo itself is placed what you call it is now looking much better than before. So now what should we do here? Within the same container, we're gonna create a simple button. Well, actually, this is gonna be a pop-up menu, or I don't know what they call it. I'll check it now. So let's say mobile BTN, right? So here, let's just create a button. I'm gonna say BTN dot btn, let's say lg. I think lg should be fine, and then btn outline, which will be light. I think that's it, and then let's just call this menu. Okay, sorry, it was supposed to be btn button. uh, this is going to float to the left, so let's give it another class of ms auto. Okay, before we continue, let's just check how it looks. Okay, so as you can see there, that's the menu there. I mean the button there. Okay, so this button for me, I think it's a bit too large. So I'm just going to make it a bit smaller. So for that, I'm going to give it a class of MD instead of LG. Refresh. I think that's a bit better. Uh, The other one was a bit large. Okay, so now actually I made a mistake. All right, so to change this button into a drop down, um I actually needed to wrap it within let me do this. Let me cut this out, and then first I need to create a div with the class of drop down. So I'll say mobile drop down menu. Okay, um, so the class needs to be drop down, and then I'm gonna paste that button back in here. Let me indent. Okay, I'm gonna copy this comment here and paste it there. Okay, so for this to become a drop down button, there's a couple of classes that we need to add in here and a number of elements that we need to add. All of these are Bootstrap classes and Bootstrap functionality. So um, what we now need to do is, after the button itself, we're going to create a drop down menu. Okay, all right, so the div is going to have a class of drop drop down menu. I think that's how you spell it. Let me just double check. Yes. Okay, and then what we need to add is um, a couple of attributes as well. So it's Araya. I think it's labeled by, and then we need to say drop down, and then menu button. Okay, and then I think that's pretty much it. Okay, so now to the button, we need to also add a couple of attributes. Okay, so this will be drop down. Oh, sorry. Within the class itself, we have to say drop down, and then I think it's slash toggle. Okay, and then the type is going to be button, and then ID. I think it needs to be the same as this. Array labeled by. So I'm going to copy what we typed here and then paste it here. So I believe these two need to be the same in order for when we click the button for it to work. All right, and then uh, we're going to say data and then toggle. Sorry about that. It's data and then equals to drop down, and then Araya has pop up, and then we're gonna say true. I know these can be quite long, but so hopefully you guys can see everything there. So let's go again. I think the last one is Araya, and then expand, and then also this is gonna be false. Okay, so I hope you guys can see everything there. So these are the attributes we need. I think we've added everything we need to the button. Like, yep, definitely. So let me just put this on another line so that we can see what's happening. Okay, All right, so save that. All right, in here we're gonna have to add a number of what you call it items. So we can say we can put hrefs there, and then this is gonna have a class of drop down item. Okay, so let's see. These ones are not gonna go anywhere for now. We will deal with that later. So the first one was what? I think it was home, and then we'll copy this 3 more times. So this will be blog. This one will be sign in, and then the other one will be paste that again, sign up. Okay, so I hope I did everything correctly here, but let's just save for now. So basically we have to wrap all these elements within a class that has the drop down class, and then from there on we have to add all these other attributes to the button so that it toggles this drop down menu. All right, and then we have to create another div that says with the class of drop down menu, and then add this particular attribute to it, and then within that div this is where we add all our menu items. All right, so hopefully if I've done everything correctly, this should work. Oh, by the way, in order for this drop down functionality to work, just remember in the beginning we set up a couple of if I'm not mistaken, is it here or at the top? I think it's at the top. So we didn't. Yeah, we didn't. So we need a Bootstrap class, what you call it? Sorry, a Bootstrap JavaScript file for that. So I believe we did copy that into our public folder here. So we need the bundle bootstrap.bundle.js file in order for this to work. So I think we can load that up at the bottom. So we can come right before the body. Um, yeah, I think we can come right before the body, and then here we will add our script tag, and then we're gonna say asset, and then it's JS. Let's see, it's JS, and then it's sitting directly within the JS folder. So it's bootstrap dot bundle and then dot JS. Before you would need, if I'm not mistaken, or actually that's the pop-up menu one, but this is the file you need if you want this pop-up menu to work. So let's just see if we've done everything correctly. So let's save and then refresh. Call to undefined function asset. Oh, okay, I made a spelling mistake here. It's asset, not assest. Okay, let's refresh again. Okay, so as you can see, the menu, okay, it's not clicking. So let's see, inspect the. By the way, where are we? At the top, correct? All right, so I forgot to add the margin auto to the drop down menu, so we need to place that there. All right, so let's come back here. I just want to double check what I did wrong. Okay, that's it. Oh boy, okay, let's close this. I'll come back here, refresh. Okay, the menu's back. All right, so I'm clicking on it. It's not picking up uh, the bootstrap file, the bootstrap what you call it, JS file. So I just want to double check what I did wrong. Script source is bootstrap bundle. Did I spell bundle correctly? Yes. .js. Okay. Um, hold on 1 second. I just want to check my notes. One moment for me, please. All right, guys, I'm back. Okay, so the reason the menu is not working is over the there's a small mistake that I made here. So in order for it to work, I just have to add that particular part there. So for in the old Bootstrap 4, I believe this is what you added. This is all you had to add, data toggle drop down. So now with Bootstrap 5, you have to say BS, which is BS. I mean, that little thing for some odd reason is causing the whole thing not to work. So um, so if you were following along with me, just there in the part in the attribute that says data toggle, just add data dash BS dash toggle, and then it should work. So if you come back here and if I refresh, as you can see, now the menu works. All right, so look, with Bootstrap 5, I mean with Bootstrap 4, initially you would have to add a popper.js file at the top before every other Bootstrap JS file. But with Bootstrap 5, all of that comes bundled within the bootstrap.bundle.js. So you don't need to add popper out for that. So if you go back to the top, um, yeah, if you did what I did just now, it should work just fine. Okay, so the color of the menu, if we want to change this, I believe, let me see. I think all we have to do, just hold on, I'm just checking my stuff. Um, here we can say drop down menu dark. I think that's what it is. Let's just see. Okay, you don't have to change yours, but if you want to, you can. And then we can leave it as with a white background. But if you want, you can just keep it. You can just add that particular class to make the background black. I mean dark. Okay, so we have our mobile menu. So when when the what you call it display is in desktop view, we need to change it. So this is not supposed to display. So to do that, um, I believe what we need to add here is d sm, and is it none? I think it's none. Let me see. Okay, so as you can see, it's not showing. So basically this class, what it does, it's telling it that so long as the screen is bigger than 600 or 500 pixels, 600 pixels I think, don't display. And then by default it should show, I think it should show once it's in mobile view. So there you have it. All right, I know that was a bit messy, but yeah. So basically, when it's in mobile view, the menu will display, and then when it's not, it'll disappear. So that's it there. All right. So what else can we change? I don't know if we need to change the text here within the hero section. I think it's fine. Let's just leave that for now. Let's deal with the other bigger issues, like for example, this page. As you can see, the image is being squished together with this column here, which shows the what you call it, the summary of some of our blog. So to remove the image, there's also a bootstrap class for that. So what we need to do is here where we added our preview. Sorry, it was a preview. So this section here is where we have this image over here and this content here. So we can do this d none and then d sm and then block, right? And then we save that. The image should not display, as you can see. So now what we also need to change is this column class here. So instead of saying column 5, what we need to do is say column and then dash sm instead of 5 column 5. So by default, what it does is that so long as the screen, like I said, if it's bigger than 600 pixels, it'll it'll span 5 columns, but then when the screen is but then by default it'll span the whole column. So as you can see now, it's sitting to the left. If we refresh, it'll span the whole column. So now our content is showing a little bit nicer. So if we were to expand this, um, wait, what did I do here? D none DSM block, right? Okay, the image is not showing. Um, D9 DSM block. Let's see. Okay, so now we have an issue where the image is not showing. So let's see. D9. Oh, my apologies. I put this within the ID instead of the class. So let's put that back and then come back here. Let's see. Okay, so our image is now showing. So when the screen is in mobile view, the image then displays, and then all we're left with this is this particular block here. Okay, so we fixed that part. We don't need to do with the features because by default, when you put the content, for example, where is that? Please, feature section. Oh, okay, it's here. Why is it showing? All right, my point is this: if you put content within a row and then make it span 4 columns, um, by default, it'll make it responsive. And then if you put any content within the column divs with the column classes, by default, what it will do is um, make it responsive. So when the screen is a bit bigger than 600 pixels, it'll span 4 columns, and then by default, when it's in mobile view, it'll span the full column. So as you can see there. What's next? Okay, so now let's talk about this blog section here. If you remember, when we created this recent blog posts section, we made the containing div span what you call it 100 viewport heights. Now this creates a particular problem. For example, if you when we put this back to a mobile view, if you check some of these divs, some of the cards that we had in that particular div are overflowing, and some of them are even coming underneath the contact form itself. So basically, what we needed to do here was let the div itself become uh, the height of the div to be automatic instead of having a fixed height. So what we need to do then, we need to come back here within what you call it, our CSS, and then change that particular part. So here, for now, I'll say auto, and then let's come back here, then let's refresh. So as you can see, nothing has changed when it's in desktop view. But if you come back here now, as you can see, now they are all stacked on top of each other rather than overflowing and going underneath the contact form. What we can also do, yeah, I think it's fine as it is. We don't need to actually separate them. So now our cards for our blog posts, at least now it's sitting nicely. So now let's talk about the contact form. So as you can see, the image is now sitting right beneath the contact form itself. Okay, so we also did the same thing we did with the recent blog posts section. We didn't need to make it so that it has so that it stays 100 viewport heights, because when it's in mobile view, it isn't that responsive. So if you check now, um, that image there doesn't need to be there when it's in mobile view. And if you see here, it's touching the contact form is touching the recent blog posts section. So we also have to change that from 100 viewport height to auto. Okay, so let's check it now. I'm going to put it back to desktop view. Okay, so now Now that we've done that, now it's touching the what you call it, the contact form and the image are touching the top of the div, the particular div. So we're gonna give that a bit of a padding. So we can use Bootstrap, or we can place it, we can do it right here within the CSS file that we have. So let's just say padding top, or actually let's just say padding, and then top and bottom we're gonna say let's just give it 15 pixels, and then left and right 0 pixels. So reason being is that by default the container class that comes with Bootstrap, it gives it a bit of a margin at the left and right. So if we refresh, as you can see, the what you call it, as you can see, there's a bit of a gap between the top and the bottom. Let's just increase it a little bit. So instead of 15, we'll say 25, and then if we refresh, that's a bit better. So now let's deal with the image. In mobile view, the image sits at the top, I mean at the bottom of the contact form, and because this is a smaller screen, we don't actually need the image to display. We just need the contact form itself. So I'm gonna set it so that the image doesn't display when it's in mobile view. So for that, we're gonna do what we did with the other elements, where let's just go down. Recent blog posts. This is the contact. Okay, this is the okay, yeah, this is the image. So now what we need to do is we're gonna say d none, and then dsm, and then block, right? Image container. All right, let's save that and then test again. Okay, that's fine. So now we're gonna say mobile view. All right, so as you can see, the image is no longer showing. What's showing now at the back is the background image. I think maybe we could give the but I think that's fine. Let's not mess with that. But yeah, currently only the contact is showing, and then obviously because we put a padding at the top and then bottom, you're gonna see the background image. So I think that's fine. And then as for this, the footer here, we don't need to do anything. Like I said, some of the elements by default will be responsive because of what we used to set them up. Okay, so I think we did all we need to do to clean up our what you call it, our website. Now what we need to do is take all of this out of the main template and put it in a separate container. I mean a separate file. So this is the template, right? And then this is the index page. It extends the template. So what we need to do here is we're gonna go back to the master and then template, right? And then what we're going to do is cut all of this out. We're gonna start from, let's see. All right, this is the main page header, and then this is the hero section, as you can see. So we're gonna cut this out from the hero section, right? And then we're gonna scroll all the way down. Let's just go down, and then I think we can cut it. Um, let's see. I think we can cut it from the footer section. No, sorry, the ribbon section. So I'm gonna copy. I'm gonna press Shift and then cut that out all the way from there, right? And then all you should have within the template currently is the main page header, and I believe it ends all the way down here. So we're gonna cut that out and then come, or actually here within the template, we're gonna use a directive that comes with Laravel. So we're gonna say yield, right? And then here we're gonna say main content, right? All right, so now we're gonna come here where we have our index file. So if you don't have that file, just under views, just create an index file, an index.blade.php file, and then after that we're gonna come here And so remember, we created a section here called, we used a directive called yield, and then we said main content. So in here, we're going to say section, and then main content. And then we're going to paste all of that stuff that we cut out here within the index.php file, right? So if we refresh, hopefully everything stays the same. Okay, so let's just check in desktop view. So as you can see, everything is still the same. So what we are seeing here is basically everything from the index file. Because the index file was extending the template, if I were to show you. So as you see here at the top, it's extending the template. That is why the content hasn't changed. So now that, because we have that, now our site, now every other file that we use is going to extend this particular template. Now to keep the template a bit clean, this main page header can sit within we can create a separate file for it because it's specific. So I'm also going to do the same here, where I'm going to cut this out, right? I'm going to cut this out, right? And then within our views, I'm going to create a folder called partials, right? I'm going to say partials, and then in here within the partials folder, I'm going to create a file called nav.blade.php, and then I'm going to paste everything we cut there. The reason I'm doing this is because this is basically the whole header, and the header itself sticks to the top, and then it's going to be the same in each and every page. So we can create it, we can put it in a separate file, and then every time we need to make any changes, we know that all we have to do is come in the views, partials, and then go into the nav.blade.php file to make any changes to our nav bar. So now that we've done that, what we now need to do within the main template, so remember we here within the master and then template, we then have to include that file. So we're going to say um, add include, then we're going to say partials, and then .nav. So for example, if I were to remove this, right? If I were to remove this from the template, if I were to refresh the page, you'll see this whole section is going to disappear. Can you see that? So now, now we need to put it back. So partials.nav, and then let's go and refresh. And then as you can see, our nav is now showing. So now whichever page we create is going to extend this particular file, and then when we go within any page that extends this file, all we have to do is just add the content here. We just have to add that main content section, and then we can inject whatever content we want to add. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it for this video. I think within the next I think we're done with the front facing website, or the main landing page. This is all we needed to do. We will come back to this recent blog section once we start working with creating blog pages. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I think we've also done the menu or the responsiveness. The hero section, I think it's fine. We don't need to change anything there. The about section is fine. This section is also fine. The feature section is also fine. The recent blog posts are also displaying. The contact form is displaying. Footer is displayed. So yeah, I think we've done with everything we needed to do. This was the one page where most of the work was gonna go. So at least we've done with the hard part. So now we're gonna be working with before we create or sign up users. I think we're gonna start working with the blog section um, within the next couple of videos. All right, guys. So I'm gonna stop rambling now. We're done with the website. If you've liked what you've seen so far, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I will see you guys within the next video. All right, cheers for now.